Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining us, everybody, for another Whiskey Wednesday. And wow, I've been on quite a roller coaster ride since the last time you saw me here. Immediately after turned off the stream, went downhill, ended up getting a little case of the vid, and I haven't had a sip of whiskey since then. So we are going to see if I still have my sense of smell and my palate. I bet you it's going to taste really good, though, if I can taste it. So a little bit of a science experiment tonight. We're going to have fun, too, exploring some samples. And then we got a bunch of topics to talk about as well. So thank you for joining us today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. So yes, it's been a week without drinking. I also managed to lose 5 pounds in the same week. I am sure that those things are not correlated with each other. But my return pour was the end, also a bottle kill, of this backbone pick that was the last remnants of what was in the Advent Calendar Challenge. Of course, I had to return with some MGP. So that is what I got in my glass tonight. So as I bring on Kelsey and Darrell, I'm going to shoot that question to you guys. I'll actually give you a warning before I pull you on for once. But what would be your go-to whiskey after a week of being off? What are you going to sample just to make sure, A, all the machinery's still working, but also like, yeah, I need to have that. Let's bring on Kelsey first.
My answer is easy. Turkey. Some low proof, like dusty turkey. I have a 1996 like 175 that is 80 proof that has full flavor, but it's a low proof, so I'd probably start with that. So
that's what I was expecting you to say was turkey, but I wasn't sure which route you were going to go. Whether you would go dusty, a rare breed, a Russell's pick. I was curious.
Yeah.
All right, Darrell.
What Darrell would come on with here?
No, nothing crazy. Probably just like a standard like 100 proofer, man. Give me like an E.H. Taylor or like a Remus or something. Just nothing that's gonna like blow me out, after having like a whole week off. Like normally I would gravitate towards the higher proof stuff. But yeah, just a good 100 proof sipper. Double oak for me, maybe. Woodford double oak. I really like that. Yeah, keep it simple.
Gosh, I didn't even consider proof when I did this. I guess this one's only 113, so that's not too bad to blow me out. It would be a very me move to pull something like hazmat. Like, ooh, I'm in the mood for this.
Yeah, I got a 90 proof at the start today. It's an old EC18, man. Like 2002? Wait, 2002? 2002 is when it was bottled. So what is that? 80... Oh, God, I can't even do math right now. 94. No, God, 84. Jesus.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
Drink more whiskey, Darrell. Drink more whiskey.
I know, right? Haven't even been drinking.
Tell you what, this is the best. It's the best this one's tasted. My nose works and my palate works. So, all right, in the clear there. One thing checked off. Why don't we say hi to everybody here as we get into it? I know Top Dog here was the first one in.
Yeah, let's see. We have in here Royard Does Cocktails. Cheers, buddy. Brian's in here. Good evening, y'all. Cheers to you. Mark B making it easy on us with the last name.
I love his new pick, too.
We got Tim Corney in here. Cheers, buddy. Ben Dramin. What's up, man? Cheers to you.
Cheers, buddy.
GT Mustang. We got Mr. Executive Producer Todd over here. An amnesiac walks into Whiskey Tube channel. He goes up to a beautiful lady and says, "Do I come here often?" Oh, Todd.
He's full of dad jokes.
Yeah. John Cloud, what's up, buddy? Cheers, whiskey friends. We got Chris Jenkins in here. JG's always in here. Whiskey Cheers. 877 Mash the Like now. Miss Whack. Good evening, all. And yes, I blame Jeffy for getting me sick as well.
Hey, there's no way, man. She was just one day behind me on all the symptoms there. We both caught it from the same place. I didn't get anybody sick.
EMC, Emily, cheers to you. EJ, all the way from Hawaii, aloha and cheers. Cheers to you. Followed by MJ. Cheers, gents. Look at this guy. Nice shirt, Coy Hill. Nice shirt, Coy Hill, just to make sure everything's working all right. Oh, shoot. It's telling you to test your palate out with some Coy Hill.
We all have
Roll
our
over the top.
sample box too, Top Dog. So
I do. It's right on the
pulling
side of me.
samples out of it.
Who else is in here? Copper Wolf. I got a sample from you over here ready too, Copper Wolf. I got a couple actually.
Cheers, Ryan.
I'll probably dive into one of those. But cheers, buddy. And your stuff is boxed up in front of me, Ryan. So I just gotta drop those off. Needed to find good boxes for the gifts. Paul P is in here. Tyler Smith. I skipped over you. Sorry, buddy. Who else is in here? Major Zero. Monday, Adam. Monday, we got a
tag team partner. Uh-oh.
I can't have Jason beat us, even though we're not really going against him. Let's whip him up. Hope he's in here hearing me. Not this Jason, but yeah, the other one. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers,
What's up,
Jason.
buddy? Gandy Road. Cheers to you. We got Lance in here, fellow Northerner or Nor'easter. Who else is in here? Bob Glass. Cheers to you. Chris Tats, all the way from down under.
Hey, cheers.
Down under. Cheers, man.
Early morning, probably enjoying a coffee with us here.
Yeah.
All right. Ricardo Carroll's in here. Cheers to you. And I think that is it for right now, guys.
Cheers,
it looks like
everybody.
we're caught up. People are trickling in.
Yeah.
But I got a nice little pour over here. This thing smells pretty crazy, man. The older Elijah Craig stuff, like the new 18s aren't really good, but this thing smells amazing.
So is that a pre-fire 18 when you say the older
Yeah.
18? Oh, man.
Those are good. We drank some pre-fire Heaven Hill stuff. There's a lot of labels. Great segue. There's a lot of labels that are under pre-fire Heaven Hill. Just FYI. I'll get into that. I'm actually going to do a video on it. So how many labels are under pre-fire Heaven Hill is one of the videos I'm going to do. But coming up, we talked about Dusty's. So we're going to go back to 2000 and I believe it's 4. I'll have to double check, but I'll have it figured out by the video. Russell's Reserve 2004. What it looked like, the bottle was completely different. The design was completely different versus Russell's today. And we're going to talk through some of that. So be looking for that video because it's going to be a fun one. And then the next one after that's going to be how to find your turkey profile. So I'm going to go through warehouse by warehouse by warehouse and talk about the differences between the profiles from the warehouse to warehouse. And we'll probably go through, probably at least 20 or 25 different warehouses or floors to try to get you a big sampling schmattering. I have a friend who's a turkey head as well, even more than me. So he's like, when you do the video, we're going to open like 7 to 10 more bottles than you already have open. So
I didn't even know there were 25 freaking
well,
warehouses.
there's different floor levels and profiles within those particular warehouses too.
Oh, like Camp Nelson, A, B, C, whatever.
CNF,
Gotcha.
CNA, Tyrone, A, Tyrone B, Tyrone Q.
Gotcha.
All of those. And if you see a label, I didn't know this till this week. If you see a label that does not have a designation, it just has an M or a Q, that's Tyrone. So there's a lot of interesting things that Turkey has done on labeling too. Like unless you request that Tyrone or TY be put on your bottle, they won't put it on there.
So a normal Monday night, Kelsey?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Yeah. Jason gets with those as well.
What we need to challenge you with at some point, Kelsey, is a blind turkey flight where you're going to have to guess the warehouse.
Oh, geez. That's hard.
Really get the
That's hard.
profiles down.
Man, I may need some help. I may have to have my buddy Keith help me out, but he's really good about it. I tasted one little 200 mils, and he had one from like late 90s, and I had one from early 2000s. And if I blinded those, I would never have guessed that they were both turkey. One was super sweet, one was completely different and spice forward. It was crazy. Turkey has some really, really, depending on the years and all of that, has some really, really different profiles, even on the dusty stuff too. So,
Oh man,
All right.
I can probably pick out just one of the warehouses because I drank like 3 bottles, and that's kind of what got me into turkey recently. So that specific one, it's a Camp Nelson Bravo, recent one. So like if it was maybe a year old, or one that's coming out now, I think I can pick that out of just say maybe 4 to 5 different warehouses.
yeah.
But other than that, like I've only had maybe a total of like 5 different warehouses. I haven't had a lot of turkey besides like the like Russell's.
I didn't either till about a year ago, to be honest with you. I had a friend who got me into Dusties, and then I started tasting more picks and warehouses, and I was like, well, I like this one even more than this one. And now I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 open different Russell's picks right now, and then he's going to open another 10 that are going to be different than the ones that I have. So we'll go through 20 different types of floors and profiles and see what we can come up with. Now I may be drunk by the
Another
time,
level.
at least you'll know your turkey profile by the end. It's for science. I have to sacrifice for science.
No spitting a platoon for you. You're going to enjoy every bit of that.
Oh man. So what did you pour, Kelsey? What was the first pour?
This is a shout out to David. This is one from David at 2 Bros 1 Bottle. Sent me some Middle West Spirits sherry cask bourbon. It's 118.98 proof. So that's what I'm drinking right now. It's actually pretty tasty, actually.
Nice.
He's got a pumpernickel rye pick coming soon. I'm just waiting.
Dude,
Come on, where is that thing?
I can't wait for that pick, dude. He's been talking to me about that for a year, about doing that pick. So there it is.
We're going to be doing whiskey samples tonight. So what better to have them in than some whiskey sample boxes? Thank you, Top Dog.
Yes, sir. Loving mine. I got about probably 20 different samples in it right now.
For those that didn't see the meetup from this past Saturday with Trev, you'll know what that's about. So just to give you a little bit. So whenever Trev and I meet, like, I don't know what it is. It's like my brain doesn't shut off that I should not drink as much whiskey as I did. But I rally, like, give me 45 minutes to an hour of a nap. And I wake up and I'm like a new person.
Nap.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, you were knocked out.
I was out cold. There was some really funny videos of all that. So I'll have to send some to you if you didn't see them all. But it was a lot of fun with Trev and Dustin when they came down.
That's it. Henry Turner.
Cheers, Henry. There's another Arkansas guy. Hey, Henry, I finally got my bottle, by the way. And I got it, and it was open. Trev had been drinking it already. So I was like, okay, I guess my bottle's your bottle. So
can you see all the 4 gates in our position? It's probably my background and your background.
Yeah, right there.
All 3 of us.
Over my right behind him, and then Terrell's is right next to him. Yeah. We like 4 gate. Bill and Bob are some great guys to hang out with, but also make some great whiskey, as well as their brand ambassador, our buddy Chris Luddig, Big League Bourbon, with 16 different bottles in store shelf, or won twice because we did the same blind for 5. Interesting. What came out on top for you, Top Dog? I'm interested now that you said that, if you can remember which one came out on top.
All right, Mark's sipping on some Smoke Wagon. All right.
Yeah, what are you guys drinking in chat? Let's hear what you guys are drinking.
Hey, Sandeep's in here. Cheers, buddy.
Do you want to talk about what we're going to do tonight a little bit, Jeff, as we lay that out and talk about super chats?
So tonight we are getting into some, neglected samples. In the case of Darrell, he likes to pull out things from 3 years ago sometimes. So I've got one here that's going to be a Still Austin Rye from Kelsey that I've been neglecting. It's time to get into that, especially now that I know my palate's working.
Is that the cast strength version or the regular rye?
Oh, shoot. This one's the cast strength. Maybe I'll save that for a side to side. I'll get a little nip. And then we're going to be having some few topics we'll go over tonight here. We'll get into conversation. We'll then have to go over the Whiskey Friend Tournament for 2023. We've been talking about this the last couple of weeks, but we are getting close to kicking that off. And I also pushed the Pick'em form out there for our patrons. So I'll talk about that a little bit. And then for Super Chats tonight. So we are going to do a few flights yet again here. One from myself, one from Kelsey, one from Darrell. My flight tonight for a lucky winner is going to be Hard Truth. And it's going to be the entire series of the Hard Truth finishes. So we got the PX Brandy here.
Nice.
That was finished in a 17-year-old barrel. We have the Saltaires, the PX Sherry, and the Cognac. So we'll do an entire flight here of Hard Truth so you can see what they're doing and how their rye takes to a finish.
Yeah, it's some killer stuff.
I'm going to do a Jack Daniels LE. You're going to get Coy Hill 143.7. The OG. I hate when this stupid video. Damn it!
How did you activate that?
I don't know. Okay, I have to do what I have to find that out because I had to record 9 times.
I seen it
9 times because I kept talking.
I watched it. I was like, wait. No, so I don't want to cut you off, but I just gotta talk about it really quick.
Oh my god!
The video that you shot and you did that.
It was so painful.
He got so upset.
I was so mad. I was throwing things in my room. I was cussing up a storm. I was so mad.
Dude, you had me.
I get like 6 bottles into my 10 reveal, and then that stupid thing would pause with a damn thumb on it.
We can edit them. You don't have to restart every time.
I never know how long it's going to last, and then I would be like, well, it's going to be faster for me just to re-record it than edit it because I don't know how to edit yet. Anyway, Jack Daniels.
10 videos of the same.
Jack Daniels. You've got the LE. So you'll have the OG LE of the rye, the Coy Hill, the twice barreled malt, and I don't have the twice barreled rye, so I'm going to throw in the Jack Daniels 12. So we'll do those 4. So if you guys are a JD fan on the LEs, this is your night. So I'll give away samples of those 4.
I'm going to do a Michter's flight. So it would have Michter's barrel proof rye, barrel proof bourbon, the toasted rye, and a Michter's 10.
All right. So there we go. 3 flights up for tonight. A Hard Truth, a Michter's, and a Jack Daniels. All right.
So I'll say this EC18 smells better than what it tastes. I've had a couple like old ones that came across more dusty and funky on the palate, which I'm not really getting on this one. This one almost comes across like not newer. It's definitely better than a newer one, but similar. And this is old too, which is weird. It's pretty drying, which I get on the new stuff. I'm into maybe win something, Mark B. You always win, buddy.
Mark is looking to keep that streak alive.
Another one.
All right, John's in.
John Cloud is in for 4. JG's in. Thanks, guys, so much. These are some killer flights. Like, if you guys have not tasted some of these older Jack Daniel LEs, and you've never tasted them, dude, get on this because that rye is almost gone in my bottle. So is the Coy Hill, and the Coy Hill's 143.7. It is a beast. I'll have to upload Jeffrey's picture of that whenever he first tasted it because it's one of my favorites. Big Vixen, cheers, buddy.
Big Vixen.
But yeah, I mean, all of the mixtures and the hard truth, I think will really truly surprise you guys a lot. We've been talking about that brand and kind of segue to what we're going to talk about, some topics that we've been talking about this brand for a long time, saying that this is the new brand that's going to be like making some waves in the bourbon world, but also what are some brands that you guys seem to have think have fallen off? This is a topic that we wanted to hear from you guys as well on what are some popular brands that have kind of had a fad and then gone away. I know which ones we're going to talk about, but what are some bourbon brands that you've seen over the last 2 to 3 years kind of fall off as far as either price point, quality of the whiskey, whatever you want to label it? Let's hear some from you guys on brands.
Yeah, and I can kick us off here. You know, I was thinking about this earlier, and it's like, what causes a brand to even drop off in the first place? You know, it's got to be something about price. You know, they raise the prices too much, and we just find better deals elsewhere. Maybe the quality just wasn't what it was when you got into it the first time. The other one I was thinking was maybe just a lack of evolution, a lack of variety, a lack of change, something like that. So I'll throw out some brands here initially, and I'm actually surprised to throw these out because they're brands that I love. One of them would be Chattanooga that I'm kind of surprised about. Like, I feel like I'm still waiting for, like, at this point, a 5-year Chattanooga. I think it's possible, but they never really went beyond their initial plan is what it seems like, or at least what I was seeing, even with their bottle and bond series.
Well, and here's the thing with that. Like, I did a video a while back. Like, I really liked their 111. To me is like straight down middle of the road, like bourbon drinkers profile type of thing. And man, it's so good for the price point, but you get into all of their other stuff, their experimental stuff as well. It gets real weird tasting. It's fun to explore, but really they were hot for a minute. And then it seems like you said, they just kind of, you don't hear as much about them. You had 2 releases, I think, of the Founders, which I liked. The first release, I think I tasted the second one when Cheech brought it last year, Bourbon on the Banks. But man, it's kind of fallen off the map, so to speak.
A little bit, you know. I always wonder sometimes if they make that play for like the massive distribution early. You know, does it kind of keep them in that same area rather than kind of evolving forward? But that's the one thing I think about with a couple of the brands that I'm looking more forward to, like Hard Truth. Like, if Hard Truth were to keep everything at 2 to 3 years, I'd be disappointed. Like, I want to try a 4-year Hard Truth. I want to try a 5-year Hard Truth. I want to try a 6-year Hard Truth. And I want to be on that journey with them rather than it just kind of stop 2 to 3 years and they just keep releasing that over again.
Live from the Patio.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't recognize that name, but thank you so much for the super chat. I guess they're doing a patio podcast, Live from the Patio. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Nice. I was going to touch base on Hard Truth too, because when we were there, Jeff, they were talking about, so Brian, he was like, they're not going to continue to do this 2-year. Literally progressively every year, they're going to be putting out something older and older and older is the intent. You know, so I think right now we're right around like that 3-year marker. I think the finished stuff may be just a little bit older, but yeah, like you're saying, like it's so good now at 2 years old. Like, what is this thing? What is it going to be in like 3 more years? It's probably going to be nuts. Like, just crazy. I think some of the best rye on the market, to be honest, and at that time frame.
Yeah, I hit one here and highlighted that was a big one for a while too, and I think a lot of that had to do with Dixon leaving, of it dropping off, to be honest. But everything from, I think, to be honest with you, from batch 2 of their rye, maybe 2 and 3, like from that point on, like even their bourbon releases, like even maybe 8, 9, and 10 were some of their last bourbon releases when Dixon were there. Just outrageous prices to begin with. It's hard to pay. It's like it was just hard. And I know that Dixon went in with them, with the Carters as well, and did some other stuff with them. But Kentucky Owl was a big one. Damn it. I hate that motherfucking thing.
Language.
Oh my God. Please help me.
I wish that every time I did it, it activated on your screen too.
That would be great, wouldn't it? This is one we did want to talk about. There's two of them. I'd forgotten about Prideful Goat. But Smoke Wagon specifically. I'll let Jeff go first, and then I'll wrap it up because I want some other things. I want to hear what he has to say first.
About Smoke Wagon, or just in
frozen over here.
Smoke Wagon specifically.
I mean, Smoke Wagon, I think we kind of felt it in the moment. And I think we've seen a couple brands do this where the blends just don't hit the same way. You know, it was like it took a year or so for like 30 batches to come out. And then all of a sudden in the next year, 140 batches came out. The next year it was even more. I don't even know if they keep track of them anymore on the uncut, unfiltered. But yeah, there was that while there where finding an uncut, unfiltered was like a special thing. And now you just see them rows for rows for rows on the shelf. So we can't be the only ones that kind of felt that over time.
No, definitely for sure. Boone County's up there too. That MGP stuff, running out of MGP and putting their own stuff in there, and it's not that good. You know.
I think Ethan found it. I just got to get it turned off. It's some sort of green camera thing on mine, so I'll have to figure that one out. Here's the thing with Smoke Wagon, and I am and was a huge. There's a bunch of Smoke Wagon right there. That whole shelf is like 4 deep each one. But what I found was Aaron. I love what he does. I think he's a great salesman. I think he's a great hype man. I was a big fan of the Younger when it came out because I thought, okay, here's something new that he's trying to keep the cost down. And what's happening now is they lost the steam of the private barrels. They're bringing that back. I'll be interested to see how the private barrel bourbon brings back or sways people away from it because of the price point. You're asking $100+ for 6-year MGP. And there's some other companies doing that. Nashville's doing that. 6 years for $100 plus. Here's the thing that I think that we all have to keep in mind with the Smoke Wagon in general is that this guy started from great old stock of MGP and went through it like it was nothing. And now even though that they have a proprietary mash bill, the wood's younger, the distillate's younger, the quantity is more. The blending process, I've always said this in my videos. Like, I think blending is an art. And those guys like K-Luke, who are blending better and better and better as they go on, I have a lot of respect for because it's a harder process. You got to think, especially on Aaron's level where he's blending hundreds of barrels together to come up with a consistent profile. I mean, I couldn't do it. Kudos to him that he's doing it, number one. But granted, you've only got so much stuff to work with. We have to keep that in mind. So wanted to get that out there. What do you guys think about that as far as the blending on Smoke Wagon and chat? What do you think about those? Some other brands that you guys mentioned. Let's see if there's any other ones. Did you see any that I missed, Jeff?
I mean, the blending part of it's tough, though, because you kind of, I don't know, you have that initial stock of barrels that you bought. You kind of make the best you can out of those. You know, you want to fire right out the gates, make a brand for yourself, but then you need that second chapter, and you might not have the stocks to do so. So I always feel for them because it does take a little bit of that reset. We've seen so many brands go through that kind of reset period after the initial hype or the initial couple brands. And, you know, I hope someone like K-Luke can overcome that too. You just don't know about that second wave of barrels that they can find to buy when they don't have control over it.
Exactly. And like how many barrels that you're having to go through just to keep up with the demand that is, especially like a brand like K-Luke that's kind of exploded a little bit in the last year. Cheers, Marty. Trying to think of any other brands off the top of my head. Here's a brand that's interesting that I think has peaks and valleys that I can't get on board with on a global scale. Barrel. Okay. Barrel puts out some really good whiskey, and then they put out some really not good whiskey. To put it nicely, it's so hit and miss. Like 34, 35, 36 were good batches, but they were good. And here's the problem. It's 6-year whiskey. It's 100 plus every single time for their whiskey. And to me, that 100 plus bottle is not worth it on barrel consistently.
But barrel consistently drops 9-year MGP single barrels for me.
And here's the thing, like that one you're holding, is that the CBG or the warm caramel apple spice?
This is the caramel apple. Yep.
Okay. So there are some picks. And here's the thing with barrel, with picks, it all depends on who picks them. It just like any other place.
All picks.
It's who picks them and who do you trust? And that's kind of the thing that when you get into single barrels, that it's not as hard to pick a freaking single barrel sometimes as others. And then there's other times where the people who are sending you stuff just send it. Like for our state, we got a Four Roses barrel, but it wasn't because we got to pick it. It was because it's sent to the whole state, and you get what you get, right? And some of those are good, and some of those are just okay. So, yeah, top shelf Dustin barrel is try before you buy, but nobody is sampling it anymore. So again, no. Yeah, that's the thing. You take about $100+ whiskey, they're not going to sample that shit out. They're not. At least my store is not. If you have a store that does that, or go to a bar, if you're lucky enough that a bar has one that you want to try, good luck to you. Christopher David says Smoke Wagon just fell off the map for me. I get it. And here's the thing. You're seeing a plateau, and that stuff is sitting on the shelves. And Arkansas was a huge state for them, and it's still setting on the shelves here right now. You didn't used to see it on the shelves. So,
yeah, we don't see that here. I've only owned maybe 3 different Smoke Wagon bottles. I think all uncut, unfiltered. But when I had them, these were like 2 years ago, and I thought they were pretty decent. I haven't had anything recent to really compare, the stock difference with what they're using. But yeah, I don't see them here, so it's been a miss for me in general because I can't even get my hands on them.
Yep.
So how about you, Darrell? What brands did you used to drink that you just don't find yourself drinking or purchasing anymore?
So I wouldn't. I kind of touched on this like a few weeks back. Like there hasn't been many brands that I don't really buy. So I could say makers. I used to buy all the not the LEs, but like the BEPs, or I guess those are maybe LEs. And I tend not to like really go out of my way for those anymore. I just don't really care for the profile. Minus the 46 cash strength probably being like the only exception. And the ones that you sent me, those DNAs are just different, completely different for me. But that would be one. A brand that I love that I'm probably not going to really be buying much anymore of is like Redbreast and the Spots. Like the prices are like double what they were. As much as I love them, I can't I think they got Blue Spot at my local store. It used to be, I think, $119. It's $299. I'm like, and he's not one to up the price on anything. It's always retail. He's like, we just can't get it cheaper than that now, and it's going to kill a brand that I love. And that's happening too. Like some of these prices are just going to go through the roof on some stuff, and as much as we love them, we're just like, I can't pull a trigger on something that I used to pay $100 for, and it's triple the price. It's not 3 times better anymore or now. But yeah, Maker's Mark for me for sure. God, see, I got in a lot later than you guys, and I just started buying stuff that I knew I liked. So I don't really have a lot of brands, in all honesty, that I shy away from High West minus midwinters,
that's
but
a good
even
one.
now, you know,
Yeah.
midwinters used to be $99. It's 150. Like my local store asked me if I want to. I passed on. I'm not going to pay 150 bucks for it. I don't think it's worth it. It's good, but I'll take an Old Scout port for like 50 bucks.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Or
It's a
Sagamore,
third
or
of the
Sagamore
price.
Fort.
Or Sagamore, Sagamore or Old
Oh
Scout.
yeah,
Both of
even
them.
that one too.
Yeah.
But the Old Scout was pretty good, and it was like 50 bucks. You know, there's just a lot of good exceptions for some of those whiskeys. But High West, I probably have 4 bottles, 5 bottles max. But I don't buy them. I won't buy them. You know.
And
Donald
there was a
Rance,
time. There was a
just
time I
need
was
to,
hunting.
you just need to come across the border for us and visit and bring bottles with you.
Yeah, see, those are good prices. Over here, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Redbreast
it is
27s
crazy.
it was $450. It's going to be $8.99. Like
Mhm.
what? Like they sat at $450. Who's going to buy them at $8.99? Like it's crazy.
I think the last red spot I saw was 200, and I was like, "Oh, what? When did that happen?"
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy. Here's an interesting Old Forester barrel proof.
Yeah,
I will go back to this again. 2 things. One, it all depends on who picks it.
Yeah.
If you are in a pick group and you know people that pick good stuff, there's some barrel proofs that are really good picks out there. But I will say, I actually found out that I prefer Old Forester at a lower proof. Jackie Zykan always said that about her and Old Forester, that she liked it at a lower proof. There's something about it. I went back to the 86 and the 100, and I actually went back to a 2018 175, and I was like, oh my God, why are they not making this anymore? It's just at a lower proof point. I like the 100 proof single barrels a little bit better now. I think that it'll be interesting if I get to try some this year, to see how they've changed with the heat cycling and all of that. Let's see who else. Old Forester 1920 on that note. Yeah.
it's exactly what I was thinking, Tyler. I mean, there was a time a couple years ago I would sneak 1920 into almost like every blind because I was like, it's so good, it's going to win all the time. And now I don't even think about it. Like, it's not even top of mind anymore. I don't know if that's a branding thing or if the quality dropped off. People talked about that with the label change and everything.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, I always wondered that one. That one just kind of fell out of fashion more than anything that actually hurt it. It just fell out of fashion.
I confused the two. Is the 20 the double oaked one, or
yes,
is that 10?
No, 10's the double oak.
1920
and
is the
2020 is the 115 proof.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Why am I thinking? Yeah, I'm thinking 1915, but that's the blend between the dang
Yeah,
two.
I actually prefer the blend over either one of them separately, which is weird, but yeah.
I haven't
Old Scout similar to Smoke Wagon in a lot of ways. Yes and no.
Oh, curious on that one, actually.
Yes, in the fact that I feel like their profiles changed, but so did MGP's juice. So I don't know if it's a brand per se. It's a different, yeah, I guess it is. It's similar in some ways too. I see what you're saying, Ryan. Jeff's tasted probably more older Old Scout than any of us. What are your thoughts on that, Jeff?
You know, maybe it's just the picks that we're getting, but you know, something like the Space Pig that came from NASA comes to mind. That 7-year pick that we got from NASA. I mean, that thing was really, really good, and it was $50-$60. I guess that's the one thing with Old Scout that I still like, is the fact that I still see him consistently at stores for $50-$60. So even if the single barrel misses, it doesn't hurt me as much as like paying $80-$90 for something that, or $150 on the, you know, the High West. Like they didn't raise the prices that much.
Yeah, Cinderella all the peated scotch, because Kelsey will die for sure.
And don't send them to Kelsey. It's funny if you send it to this guy. It's a hospital trip if you send it to him.
Exactly. Cheers, Hendo. Hendo had a great time picking some barrels lately. Cheers, Hendo. He got to do Mash and Journey's ASW. Is that right? Or
okay. Yep, ASW.
And 13 Colony. Yeah. So
13th.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to try those 13th colony picks when they come out.
Oh God, Eric Ritchie.
I
That's
saw
awesome.
him pop up there a second ago.
It's the franchise. I seem to remember it too.
That's funny.
Oh,
All
man.
right. I need another sample. So
I dove into one.
I
Got
did
a Kings
too.
County.
any
I
other
did.
brands you want to highlight on that subject before we turn to a different subject?
Hold on.
I'll
I'm
tell you,
looking.
Yellowstone's not a brand that I tend to buy anymore, unless it's like a single barrel from somebody that I know picked
Here's
it.
the thing about
Hey,
Yellowstone.
when it has
Yellowstone?
Todd Ritter's face on it, I'll
Yeah,
buy it.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I
That's
will
the
say
last one I
that
purchased.
Old Ritter was really good. I did try. Here's the other thing that I will say I wish I could get a hold of. There's one called the Family Recipe, and it kicks every other one's picks that I've ever tasted out of the water, even the Old Ritter. But it's only distillery only, and I don't know why they don't release that one. I was really excited for their toasted because I tasted some of their early toasted stuff, and it just not stack up at all. So yeah, I mean, I find it interesting that they're doing single malt. Their single malt came across a crossbreed to me from like a bourbon / single malt because it had some single malt stuff to it, but it was really more of a bourbon drinker single malt. There's some stuff in there. So, ooh, this is a good one. National Bear Company has priced themselves out of my comfort zone. I'd rather hunt backbone or copper and cast picks. Good call out, OH. I totally agree with you. If you guys don't know what copper and cask or this one, I would add to the list as well, which
Cooper
is
Craft.
Oh yeah, the Cooper Craft.
Yeah.
That is doing 8 and 9 year picks for under $100. So, I will throw that one out there as well.
That is the weird part of it. I guess you're trying to, I don't know, you're trying to get to a mass market who's not as educated. But these brands know, at least amongst our crowd, like we know what's in the bottle and we know what other brands have the exact same thing you do. So we're always looking at the shelves like, well, that's half as much as that. So I'm buy that one because it's the exact same thing. I guess other people just buy it into the brand and buy into the hype of us hyping them up when they first come out.
Right.
And then, we abandon them and we keep the echo of all of the noise that we made and all the hype that we made keeps going on into the market. It's interesting.
Yeah. I think Blake will speak for himself, but I will say that Blake Benson will always buy Old Carter. Me personally, I think Mark is an incredible guy. I loved hanging out, getting to meet him this past year. For me personally, as far as buying Old Carter, I think that if I can find it at retail and it's been somewhere where I can actually reasonably buy it, I might pick it up. But it's not going to be one that I'm going to seek after. It's just not. I'm not going to pay $1,200 or $1,300 a year to have the opportunity to buy bottles that are $200 plus. To be honest, I would much rather save my money and go dusty. That's just me, my palate.
Dusty route. Yeah.
I still think I'll keep buying the American when I see it, and I do like the ryes too. The rye I got last year, like the batch 10, was like real good.
I do have a sample left of that too. I need to go back to that.
So maybe it's a batch by batch thing. I think I have to wait for like somebody to be like, "That's the batch to buy," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's the same
Thrasher
thing.
asks about Old Elk. I will say this about Old Elk. Old Elk is like barrel for me. Some things are really good and some things are just okay, but the price point is where it gets me. Here's the thing though, Thrasher. I'm not sure that Old Elk is using the same mash bills as every other MGP. I think that is it Greg Metz? Is that right?
Yeah.
Bought a ton of barrels before he left, and those are some unique mash bill barrels. I don't think that other people are doing their mash bills, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that stuff tastes a lot different to me than to say Old Scouts and the smoke wagons that I have. That profile with Old Elk for me is night and day between the two, MGP wise.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as I love MGP typically, Old Elk never quite hit me right. You know, there's even a blind flight that I remember where the person that poured the sample couldn't remember what they poured, and then I tried it in one sip. I was like, "Did you pour Old Elk?" I mean, it just hits me on like such a weird level sometimes. Even Matt, when I got into Matt Madness last year, the last pour was Old Elk Finish and Armagnac, and I knew exactly what it was the moment I tasted it because it just hits me in the weird way that I don't like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Todd. They have their own proprietary mash bills, but I also think those mash bills were ones that he did years ago. I don't think MGP is using those mash bills at all. And for those that don't know, Greg Metz used to be at MGP until he started Old Elk a few years ago. So that's kind of where the connection is.
Ran essentially my favorite era of MGP.
Yeah, and I think part of his contract or his retirement was he got a certain amount of barrels that he had produced as part of his severance or leaving or whatever you want to call it. So,
well, I just saw Todd in there. I'm drinking Todd. I'm finally getting into it. The Lost Sample, the Knob Creek single barrel from Bourbon in the Banks.
Oh my God, dude, that is such a good pick.
Oh my gosh, I have been enjoying this thing. This thing is such a good,
so good, dude. I texted him the other day when I opened mine, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is such a good barrel." Anybody else have any other in the chat brands that you can think of that have kind of fallen off, or something that you don't search after that you used to? I'll throw one out for everybody. I think when I say Buffalo Trace products, I think the only one that I really seek out anymore is Stag Junior, and it's because it's easy to get for me to get for some reason.
I know, you're so lucky.
So
I will still buy every Buffalo Trace store pick I see, every Eagle Rare store pick I see. I mean, now I am not necessarily the one drinking them. I'm actually buying them for family and friends for gift purposes because they will still get super excited for it. Like, Buffalo Trace just somehow made a brand that's just, I don't know, head above the rest as far as the marketing's concerned, because even to this day, with all the things that we can talk about, all the new brands we can hype up, there are certain crowds out there that are still in 2024 just all about Buffalo Trace and the Buffalo Trace products.
Base Remus and Remus single barrels. I will say though, the highest rye was actually pretty good for $49. I was impressed with that one.
Same here.
Let's see. There was another one. Where did it go?
Remus single barrels are tough though, because they don't tell you the mash bill and they don't tell you the age. So you're always taking a chance unless you have an inside track on the info.
So no one will agree with me, but Penelope's on my list. Hey, I get that. I will say though, if you haven't tried the Penelope 9-year, you need to try it. Holy cow, it is good. It is very, very good. And for a 9-year being under $90, like I think mine was $76. So there's one of those things where you have MGP 9-year for $76, and then you're paying $100 plus for 6-year MGP in other places. So
man, you know, I got my 9-year for $60 at Party Source. Is 60 or 65?
Yeah, I think it's
you can find 60. That.
Yeah, I think it's 59 here.
I would have agreed with Joe before the 9-year came out, and then the 9-year came out, and it's like, oh, these are the stocks that you're going to get now that you're owned by MGP. Let's see what you do next.
What did I see? Oh God,
Hendo said I kind of have to agree with you on that one.
It's interesting to take the temperature.
I might think about it 400 to 500 when I see them. I'm assuming he's talking about Stag Junior. Yeah, Stag Junior is 250 to 300.
Oh yeah, this guy still gets them at retail practically. Like, geez.
I used to. I haven't seen one here since the batch 18, which is crazy.
I think that states that, like for us in Arkansas, we used to not see anything Buffalo Trace wise. And for some reason, when they switched off of RNDC, we started seeing Buffalo Trace. Like, you just got a whole batch of like each other small batch, some single barrel EH Taylors in this last time with some Weller. So it's weird how it goes like this with Buffalo Trace allocations here. So,
Man. Well, it seems like a lot of people in chat are just hitting a lot of the brands that we've been talking about here for all the same reasons. It's been interesting to see the chat. Maybe someone's looking at this and they can kind of see some of the stories that we're talking about here. Oh, Master Keep. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Keep.
Oh man, that
that's
voyage.
funny, Marty. That's
That
great.
voyage broke my heart. We'll see. We'll see when September comes around, Marty, and how my resolve is on not buying the next Master's Keep after the voyage. We'll see if I can quit it.
Four Roses for me was never big for me, just for my profile. I will say Russells are getting a little out of hand on their price points, but dude, some of those Russell picks are 9-10 years old. So to be honest with you, they're pretty in line with a 10-year-old at $100. I've been seeing them anywhere from 69 to 89, and those are 8 to 9 years. So I'm still not happy about it, but obviously I think I'm a turkey head, so I'm going to buy them anyway.
And Roses
I've
over
passed
here.
on some Russell's picks because of the prices.
Yeah, we don't
What are you
get
saying about-
they release in mass, but not where I'm at in Rhode Island.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that comes down to, kind of summarizing it again. I kind of started off with that list, but you're slowly raising your prices and you're pricing yourself out of the equation. You're just not evolving, and you're just falling out of favor because of that, or you're just falling out of fashion for just stale purposes. Yeah, seems to be those type of things that just keep happening. Oh, the stocks. I guess we mentioned the stocks too.
Mm-hmm.
You have that initial great stock of barrels, you blend the heck out of them, and then you gotta have a chapter 2. You gotta have a sequel. And the other brand, actually, I'll end it on a somber note of all brands, but our lucky proprietors are whiskey of the year to don't talk about it, don't see it, may never see it again. Like, whew, that is quite the drop off right there.
Yep.
And that's crazy because they're putting out these unless they're not going to do Calumet like 17 or anything, but they were putting those out, right? The 16 came out this year. Like, why
Calumet,
didn't they
Sam
not
Houston,
proof them down?
all all those brands, like they had the stocks and they were great while they were here. I guess that's the thing we got to appreciate with some of those brands, though. The brands that literally disappear, I mean, it's almost like, what is it? Burning hot as the sun or burning themselves out quickly. Like they had the stocks, they used them, they got our attention, we got to enjoy them, and then they're gone.
Booker's is one I never got into. I had a couple of good batches that I liked, Kentucky Chew, and then the latest batch that I actually liked, which is off profile Booker's, is probably why I liked it, which was Kentucky Tea. Kentucky Tea for me was probably one of the best batches of Booker's that I've ever tasted. And I don't actually like Country Ham. Everybody touts that bottle so highly for Booker's, but I just thought it was an okay. But for me, like the best Booker's that I've tasted recently had been that one. So
I haven't bought a Booker since 2020, so I've been
1792 bottles. I will say, like 3 years ago, that was my go-to, like small batch, and then it disappeared. Like I don't even see it on the shelf anymore. It'll come and it'll be like 2 bottles of small batch and 2 bottles of bib, and then it'll be gone. I never see the 12-year. I never see any of the other stuff that they did. So
yeah. Well, I think Jason got the 12-year. You should be able to try his.
Oh, I've tried it. I'm just saying I don't see it on the shelf ever. I've never seen a 12-year on the shelf.
Gotcha.
Well, quick time check. We got about 6 minutes left, everybody. Got 85 people here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will do the Super Chat giveaway in, I would say, about 3 to 4 minutes time. So if you want to get in there, I am giving away a flight of all of the Hard Truth with the various finishes. Darrell is giving away a pretty baller flight of Michter's, and Kelsey's giving away a pretty awesome flight of Jack Daniels. So that's just a quick recap there if you're interested.
Yeah, all the LEs that I have. So Coy Hill, the old school first release of the barrel proof rye, the twice barreled, and JD12 that just released. So
that JD12 is killer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I made a
Never,
trade for
Dustin. I'm not even going to say it
Oh
out
my
loud, but the
God.
answer is
If you're
never.
drinking Basil Hazen, you're not drinking whiskey. You're drinking whiskey flavored water. Just saying.
Now, the
one of my
dark
first
rye,
videos.
on the other hand, that one was all right, right?
I never actually got to taste the dark rye. I don't know.
Oh, that was a very interesting pour. Ooh, keeps in.
He's in. So
So I'll get you added there too.
get your super chats in. These are some killer flights you don't want to miss out on. And Jeff is going to lead us into our whiskey tournament.
All right. One more hype train for this. We've been setting this thing up now for a handful of weeks. Poured. I need to randomize them here, but we are going to be doing it predominantly in February. We are arranging some guests to come on and test these with us, but we will be doing a Whiskey Friend tournament, going through each of these flights week after week. And for our patrons, go and check out the message that I sent today. I got a Google form out there. We're going to do a pick'em challenge with this whiskey tournament where everyone in our Patreon can play for, just being in the Patreon, being part of the community. You get to pick who you think is going to advance from each bracket, be the winner overall. And the winner of the challenge is going to get samples of whatever's in the final four. And Kelsey's going to put up one of our Blue Note picks to the winner. So,
And for those that don't know or weren't involved with that, we actually did a pick. This pick was a super uber short barrel. It was 30 bottles that was left that was in the barrel. So it's super concentrated. It's Green River distillate. So it was one of the Tornado Survivor barrels that was super short. So that's kind of what that was.
Fix it. I'll take the West Coast as the best coast. One thing too, can we add that back? The bracket?
tournament? Yep, I
yeah.
can put that on
The
there.
4 roses for those, because I don't know if this is how you displayed it on the message. That's the LE. So it's not a regular single barrel if somebody was mixed up on that. So it's the LE, the new one for this year, the 135th.
Oh my gosh. OH, before he submits his responses, sent me a paragraph of questions on clarifications on which bottles which before he will submit answers. He's
Batch
like, who picked
number
this one? Who
series.
picked this one? What's the batch number? What's the laser code? What's
Yeah, you got.
Let's not even
back
get
to him
into
on
that debate. Let's leave that one alone.
Oh man.
Most of them you don't got to worry about. The mixers, though, that definitely has an effect on which batch.
Oh yeah, the A batch versus an E batch. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
On the subject of laser codes, shout out to Dan and Julie for their amazing shorts that they're putting out.
Oh dude, that was so much fun.
Roasting everybody on these various subjects. I've been getting a kick out of those. All right. So let's get to the wheel here. Let me pull that to the side. All right. Actually, let me do one quick double check here. I always like to do a double check before I spin it. So, guys, why don't you hype up what we're doing next week since we got the special guest booked?
Oh, is that next week?
That'll be next week. I got to work on that right after we sign off.
So last year, if you guys were a part of the channel and been watching, we did a kind of Super Bowl thing against the Eagles and the Chiefs because Darrell's an Eagles fan and Dara, the average drinker, was Chiefs fan. So her and Bill are going to come on and help us out next week and be a part of that. So actually,
getting my revenge. That's what I'm doing. I'm kicking butt.
Todd's going to give away a French Lick, Spirits of French Lick, Bourbon Society Lee Sinclair pick. And I actually have that pick.
Oh, that's a good
Thank you, Todd. It's a very, very interesting pick, and it's very good. If you don't know that brand, they're all grain to glass, and you get all of the grain notes without it being grainy. I know that sounds weird and confusing, and it doesn't sound right, but it does. You get all of the notes without it being too grainy. So thank you, Todd.
Thank you, buddy. And that's for today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Todd.
We do have some really cool people coming on as the channel progresses towards the February and March and April. So you do not want to miss it. Impress me.
Oh yeah, we're getting started there. We're recruiting some people, having some fun. As I said, we're gonna have guest judges on each step of that Whiskey Friend tournament. So we'll pull some people in. We're plotting. Of course, Darrell likes these moments where we get to chill and hang out like we did in January, but it's time to get going again.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I don't mind them, but it's fun definitely bringing people on and having some of these games and stuff. So, I'm looking forward to that. The tournament, though, I really, really, really excited about. I love blinds.
Well, I went back through. I'll scroll down here slowly. I double-checked all the names, double-checked all the entries. We are ready to go. Why don't we start out with Kelsey's Jack Daniels flight?
All right.
Let's do it.
So I'll randomize 3 times there.
Good luck to everybody.
Who rigged the wheel?
So this is for the Jack Daniels, essentially Jack Daniels LE flight.
Hendo!
Hendo! All right.
Nice.
Congratulations, buddy. We'll be reaching out to you soon, too.
We need to do a blinds in front of blinds.
Always need to do some blinds in front of blinds. All right, why don't we do Darrell's next for the Michter's flight?
Who's it going to be? Rigged.
Ooh, all right.
Wait, I can't see. Oh, there it is. Wait. Oh, that's
Father
the new
Father
what was the
Fortenberry.
name now. He switched it.
Oh, he switched it?
It was the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to get your info. So email it to helloagainwhiskeyfriends@gmail.com. Callie
Link in the
Dram,
description.
send me a message on my Facebook as to which flight that you're missing. Because I thought I was caught up, but if I missed one, I will send it out.
That's Jake. That's Jake.
That's
You said
Jake.
you were
Okay,
working on
Jake,
that one.
yours will be coming out this weekend. I'm packing all that up this weekend. So yes. Okay. Just want to make sure. Yes, it is coming.
Yep.
Sorry.
All
What's
right.
going on with my...
Again,
All
Father
right.
Fortenberry, if you're still in here, the podcast, make sure you get your information to Jeff at helloagainwhiskeyfriends.com.
Hello again, whiskeyfriends@gmail.com.
gmail.com. Sorry.
All right. Got that one going. I think I hit the randomize. So we'll do this flight. This one will be for the Hard Truth flight. And then we will
send
do
your address so that we can hand deliver that to you. Is what we need.
Oh, I'm spinning
Big
again.
Dick, it's rigged.
No, that's rigged. No,
That's rigged.
that can't be.
That's
Congratulations, Vic. All right. This will be a good flight for you, man. You're gonna enjoy this one. This be a good cigar flight too.
Oh,
try them each
absolutely.
and then have them some with the cigar.
Heck,
Oh man,
yeah.
He is going to enjoy that. And now we've got Todd with the Spirit of French Lick. Thank you so much, Todd. One more spin. Here we go. Oh, JG. He's going to like that one. Congratulations,
Nice.
JG. Oh, congratulations to all of our winners. And thank everybody who contributed tonight, either through the super chats, through the comments, through all the engagement. Really, really appreciate it. This was a fun night. All right. Well, guys, I think it's time to say goodnight, send everybody to Jason. I will say, I posted my thumbnail first that said we were going to be exploring samples tonight. And then immediately Jason's thumbnail came out like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's explore some samples tonight.
Of course,
And
everybody will think that he did it first
right.
because he got more people subscribed, right? So
We
help
totally
us out. Help us
Yeah,
out.
man. Let him know that he's riffing off of us here. But he did have the maker's DNA samples in his picture, so I was like, oh, I'll have to tune in, see what he thinks of those. I think he's gonna love those.
Are they from you?
Yeah. Half the samples were from me in that picture.
Oh, really?
Darrell, you can recognize that handwriting from anywhere.
I didn't even see his thumbnail. I just seen the
It
word.
looked like a 3-year-old wrote it. Then you know it was Jeff.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
So, guys, why don't we sign off before we send everybody over to Jason? Kelsey, why don't you kick us off?
everybody, thank you so much for all the support and the love. We appreciate you guys so much. We love doing this. We love sharing our whiskey with you guys. That's what it's all about. Having good memories, good friends. So thank you guys. Find me on Facebook and Instagram under Kelsey Dime. The man, the myth, the legend, the Whiskey Saint. Darrell, where can they find you?
Guys, find me on IG, the Whiskey Saint, and just literally on here every Wednesday with these good guys, man. Trying to just keep it fun. Got a lot of good stuff and fun stuff really in the works. Next week kicking off, with some guests and that tournament. It's going to be a blast. So yeah, just continue to follow in every Wednesday with us, 8:00 Eastern. Pass it over to Mr. Wack over here.
All right. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Also, special shout out to Darrell and Major Zero. Good luck on Monday with your blind flight challenge over at Dusty Dan. So be sure to check out Darrell on Dusty Dan's channel on Monday, and then come back to us next Wednesday for the Super Bowl matchup of the year when we have on Dara versus Darrell and maybe Kelsey if we get Bill on too. I'm still debating what this format's going to be, but I'm going to have some fun. So thank you for joining us today, Whiskey Friends. We'll catch you on the next Whiskey Wednesday.
Cheers guys.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me.